The Irish rock band U2 wrote a hit song inspired by their interest in gospel music. The words of the title and the refrain are, "I still haven't found what I'm looking for." The lyrics describe a spiritual quest, climbing the highest mountains, running through fields, crawling, scaling walls, experiencing spiritual elation and darkness, an arduous journey of searching for intimacy with God. Then near the end of the song, there is an allusion to Jesus with the words, "You broke the bonds and you loosed the chains, carried the cross of my shame, of my shame." And does the chorus change to, "And now I have found what I'm looking for"? No, it doesn't. It continues with, "But I still haven't found what I'm looking for." That expresses the frustration of a lot of people who think they know the reason for the season. They know about Jesus. They've heard about him breaking their bonds, loosing their chains, and carrying their shame. And that moves them for the season. They know that they should be satisfied, even joyful. They try to be, even act as if they are, but inside they are living a life of quiet desperation because they still haven't found what they're looking for. The story of the Magi is a story of people finding what they're looking for, and, according to a literal translation of the Greek, they were vehemently joyful. So what motivated their search? And why were they vehemently joyful? It's not stated, but the story implies that the Magi were well informed about Jewish traditions. Judaism was well established throughout the Roman Empire and in eastern lands such as Persia. At the time, a topic of conversation among the dispersed Jewish communities was the expectation that a mighty king who would bring in the kingdom of God was about to appear. The Roman historian Tacitus wrote that at this time in history, there was a widespread expectation that a world ruler was about to come from Judea. One passage from the Jewish writings with which the Magi would have been familiar is the statement by the prophet Balaam. It's found in Numbers 24:17 and 19. "I see him, but not here and now. I perceive him, but far in the distant future. A star will rise from Jacob. A scepter will emerge from Israel. A ruler will rise in Jacob." The Magi were scholars, so it may be that they connected the unusually bright light they saw in the western sky with this Jewish prophecy. What makes this story so intriguing is that pagan astrologers who are vehemently joyful when they find what they are looking for, when they find the child destined to be a great ruler. They're the joyful ones. Their joyfulness in finding the Christ child is contrasted with other characters in the story. By contrast, there is the person who doesn't find what he's looking for, and that's the resident king of Judea, Herod the Great. What's Herod looking for? His title gives it away. Herod's looking for personal greatness. His life quest is for personal power and glory. People who want to secure their importance in this world, who want to protect their interests and ensure their prosperity, they're not looking for a Messiah who will put an end to ambition and exploitation and self-serving greed and interest. They especially don't want to find a person whose agenda is to reshape our lives and world in accordance with God's values, to establish righteous, just and fair ways and compassionate care for the powerless. We know from the Jewish historian Josephus that Herod's quest for greatness doesn't have a happy ending. Herod eventually contracted a horrible disease, resulting in burning fever, convulsions, and ulcerated entrails that gave off foul discharges and stench. The other characters in this story who are contrasted with the Magi are religious people. And here is another strange thing about this story. The very people you would expect to be looking for the Messiah, they're not looking. I'm referring to the priests and the lawyers who Herod the Great consulted when the Magi arrived. Herod asked them where the Messiah will be born, and they immediately quote to him the prophecy of the Jewish prophet Micah. So they know the Messiah will be born in Bethlehem. And now they have information that the Magi suspect that the event predicted by Balaam is occurring, that there is a cosmic event now taking place, indicating that the Messiah has arrived and his kingdom will be commencing. What do? Nothing. They're not interested. There's no response like, wow, this is intriguing. Can we come with you and find out who this is to monitor and assess whether he is the Messiah? No, there's zero interest. Why? Because they have their religion. They don't need or want a Messiah. They're not on any spiritual quest to seek God's kingdom come and his will be done on earth as it is in heaven. They want a religious life they can manage. They don't want to be managed by God. They want to be the managers. They want religion to make them look good without having to be good and do good. There are a lot of church people for whom a little bit of Sunday ritual, attending a worship service in a sacred building, and hanging out with some nice Christian friends who are there as a support group when they need it. That's all they're looking for. No need or desire for radical transformation. They don't want the power of God intruding, disrupting, or even demanding more than they can comfortably manage. So what wisdom does this story give us about the pursuit of happiness, the search for large and lasting joy? Every year, the Christmas story is a message from God about what the world needs now. The American songwriter Burt Bacharach said, "What the world needs now is love, sweet love." And that's true. But I think the American author P.T. Forsyth captures the moral of the Magi story when he wrote, "The first duty of every soul is to find not its freedom, but its master." That's what the Magi story wants you to look for, to find and to vehemently rejoice about, to look for and find joy in submitting yourself to God's appointed king and ruler, to instruct and direct you in the ways of his kingdom, to become part of a kingdom where the values and the priorities are much bigger, brighter, and better than your interests and your self-centered ambitions. Our prayer for you this Christmas is that you will encounter Jesus as the Magi did, not as Santa Jesus, but as King Jesus, as the Master you will honor with yourself and with your service, practicing and promoting the values and ways of his kingdom in your day-to-day world.